Hello, good morning, friends. This is the second lecture, and in this second lecture, we are going to discuss the remaining points. The next terminology is given as the average speed. Now we know the average speed, it is calculated by using the formula that is the total distance traveled per unit time. Now, when we consider that is a total distance, so it can be also called as total path length traveled during the time interval divided by time interval. So, total distance divided by time, that is the formula for average speed. As we know, what is the formula for speed? Distance upon time. The same formula you can observe here for the average speed. Speed is a scalar quantity, so definitely average speed is a scalar quantity. As a speed and velocity both having the same unit and dimension, so meter per second and L raised to 1 and T raised to minus 1, these are the units and dimension. If we consider the rectilinear motion along the same direction, then magnitude of displacement is equal to distance traveled. Similarly, average velocity and average speed both having the same value. This is one very important terminology, that is the instantaneous velocity. How we can find out the instantaneous velocity? For the instantaneous velocity, we can say it is a velocity at the given instant of time, and for that we can use the concept of the limit. So the limiting value of the average velocity, it is called as the instantaneous velocity. So we know in the formula it is denoted as V bar, which is equal to limit t tends to 0. Now what is meaning of this? That is t tends to 0 means the value of time interval is considered as a very small, close to 0 but not 0. So we can find out the value of velocity at the very small time interval. म्हणजे इन्स्टंटेनियस वेलॉसिटीने आपल्याला अतिशय कमी कालावधीसाठी सुद्धा वेलॉसिटी फाइंड आउट करता येते. So instantaneous velocity is limiting value of the average velocity for very small time interval, and it is written by dx by dt. So it is given in terms of derivative. In the last topic, we have seen about d by dt. It is a form of derivative. So it is written as derivative of x with respect to time. It is also called as the instantaneous velocity. Now instantaneous velocity, it is also the vector quantity, and it has the same unit of the velocity. जे velocityचे युनिट आहेत तेच average velocityचे आणि तेच instantaneous velocityचे आहे हे तुमच्या इथे लक्षात येईल. Now when we consider about the instantaneous speed, so what will be the expression for the instantaneous speed? The same concept, the limiting value of the average speed for very small time interval. So you will find again the concept of limit is taken. Instantaneous speed is equal to limit x tends to 0. That time factor, it should be 0. So delta x divided by delta t. So here for very small time interval, you have to find out the value by using the concept of limit. So it is also the speed of object at a given instant of time. You will find the same concept. So it is a scalar quantity and its SI unit and dimension, it is the same as a speed. When we consider about the path length, it is nothing but a distance. So we know the distance is equal to magnitude of displacement. Now when we consider about these points, then you should remember the classification or the difference for the uniform motion and the non-uniform motion. In case of rectilinear motion, we can consider the two different types. The one, object is moving with the constant velocity, and second, object is moving with the variable velocity. When object is moving with the constant velocity along a straight line, it is called as uniform motion. And when the object is moving with the variable velocity, then it is called as non-uniform motion. Now in uniform motion, average velocity and instantaneous velocity are same. Similarly, average speed, instantaneous speed, both are also same. But in case of non-uniform motion, you will find all the values are different. That is, average velocity, instantaneous velocity are different. Average speed, instantaneous speeds are different. So we observed here, that is the difference between the uniform motion and non-uniform motion. The next terminology is given as the acceleration. As we know the basic definition for the acceleration, the rate of change of velocity with time is called as the acceleration. So acceleration is change in velocity divided by time. Acceleration is a vector quantity. Its SI unit is meter per second square and dimension is L raised to 1 T raised to minus 2. How we can find out the average acceleration and the instantaneous acceleration? In the vector form, acceleration is represented as a bar is equal to change in velocity is given as v2 bar minus v1 bar. Now what is v2 bar? It is velocity at time t2. And what is v1 bar? Velocity at time t1. म्हणजे इथे अंशामध्ये आपण चेंज इन वेलॉसिटी घेतलेली आहे आणि छेदामध्ये टाइम घेतलेला आहे, टाइम डिफरन्स, दॅट इज t2 मायनस t1. सो चेंज इन वेलॉसिटी डिवायडेड बाय टाइम. फक्त वेक्टर फॉर्म मध्ये आपण इक्वेशन लिहिलेलं आहे. हाऊ वी कॅन फाइंड आउट द instantaneous acceleration? Again, it is a limiting value of average acceleration for very small time interval. So again you will find the concept of limit related to the instantaneous acceleration. So a bar is equal to limit t tends to 0, or it is written as delta t tends to 0 delta v divided by delta t. And again you will find in terms of derivative, that is d by dt of v, that is change in velocity with respect to time. So you will find again the instantaneous acceleration. It is nothing but slope of the tangent to the velocity versus time curve at that time. Means if we plot the curve, if we plot the graph of velocity and time, and if we draw the tangent to the curve, then that tangent will give you the value of instantaneous acceleration. It is given in this topic in case of the graphical representation. So this is a one terminology which is given related to the relative velocity. The name itself gives about idea, that is you have to consider the two velocities of two different objects and you have to take the comparison of the velocity with each other. So the relative velocity of object A, it is denoted with VA, and velocity of object B, it is denoted with VB. Now if we want to calculate the relative velocity of object A with respect to B, then it is written as VAB, which is equal to difference of velocity at A and velocity at B. Similarly, we can find out velocity of B with respect to A, represented as VBA, that is velocity at B minus velocity at A. Now here we have assumed that when t is equal to 0, A and B, they are at the same point. They are at the same position. As they are traveling with the different velocity, distance between them will go on increasing, and the distance is directly proportional to the difference of their velocity. So relative velocity, that is nothing but difference between the two objects. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the graphical study of motion. For rectilinear motion, here we discuss two different types of the graphical study. The first type is the position as a function of time, or it is also called as the position time graph. For different cases, here we can discuss this graphical representation. First case is the object is at rest position. So this is the graphical representation. If you observe, then graph is taken as position along y-axis and time is along x-axis. The graph is a straight line, horizontal straight line. Secondly, displacement of the object is 0. There is no change in position of an object. Thirdly, the slope of the line, that is displacement divided by time, it is 0. So we can say slope of this line is 0, that is velocity is 0. Now in the second case, we can consider the uniform velocity, and object is moving along x-axis, means the object having the increasing velocity, uniform increasing velocity. So what will be the nature of the graph? Again, position versus time is time graph is plotted here. The nature of the graph is a straight line passing through the origin. From this graph, we can say displacement and time, they are directly proportional to each other. If we find out the slope of this line, then definitely the slope is positive because velocity is increasing. Thirdly, in case of the uniform motion, always average velocity is equal to the instantaneous velocity. Third case, we can consider as the object which also having the uniform velocity, but it goes on decreasing. Uniform velocity, but it goes on decreasing. What will be the nature of the graph? If you observe this, then you will find this is again position time graph with uniformly decreasing velocity. Okay, so you will find here the slope is nothing but the velocity, but it having a negative value. Velocity having negative value. The third type of graph, that is a case 4, we can say, that is given related to the oscillatory motion. We know there are different types of motion. Now the example of the oscillatory or vibratory motion is pendulum of clock. We know the pendulum or the object, it is moving with the constant velocity, and the direction of this velocity changes from positive to negative and vice versa after fixed interval of time. So if you observe the graphical representation, position versus time, then this gives the graphical representation for oscillatory motion. Now, if you observe this graph, it is for the non-uniform motion. When object is moving in non-uniform motion, the nature of the graph is a curve. From the graph here, velocity changes with time. So, average and instantaneous velocities are not equal. Average velocity, how we can calculate from this graph? So, you can select any 2 points as A and B. You will find line AB. The respective time interval as T1 and T4. A is related to position vector x1 and B is related to position vector x4. By taking these values, we can find out the average velocity for line AB for time interval T1 to T4. Similarly, we can find out average velocity by using the line CD. for time interval t2 and t3. Again, if we decrease the time interval, then the AB and CD lines, they will becomes as tangent to the curve. In the figure, PQ line, it is shown as a tangent to the curve at time t0, which gives the value of the instantaneous velocity. So if we find out the slope of line PQ, which is a tangent to the curve, it gives instantaneous velocity. Now, the second type of graph is given as velocity time graph. So velocity is taken on y-axis, time is taken on the x-axis. So this will be the first case when object is moving with the constant velocity. Velocity is constant. So what will be the nature of the graph? The graph is a straight line parallel to time axis. As velocity is constant, so acceleration is 0. Because velocity divided by time, that is slope of the line, it will acceleration and it is 0. Secondly, we will find the shaded area which is taken for the time interval, that is t1 and t2. So this shaded area gives you, that is the value or the magnitude of the displacement, that is the nothing but the distance traveled by the object. So in this graph also, you can find out the shaded area by taking the multiplication of v0 into time difference. Now this shaded area gives the magnitude of displacement that already I have told you, that is the distance traveled by the object during the time interval t1 to t2. Okay, the second graph you will find, again it is a for the uniform velocity, that object is moving with the constant velocity and again velocity goes on increasing, that is with uniform acceleration along the same direction. So if you observe the nature of the graph, it is a straight line and magnitude of the velocity, it goes on uniformly increasing. Okay, so if you find out the slope of the graph, then slope of the graph is nothing but velocity divided by time, which is equal to acceleration. So this gives the positive value of the acceleration. Okay, then shaded area, the area which is shown here, it is nothing but the distance traveled. Okay, distance traveled by the object during the time interval t1 to t2. Similarly, you will find there will be the another case which is again for the uniform motion, that is object is moving with the uniform velocity with negative acceleration, means that velocity is goes on decreasing with respect to time. So what will be the nature of the graph? It is shown here, that is acceleration decreases uniformly with time. Then acceleration is opposite to the velocity, and area under the curve, it also again gives the distance traveled during the given time interval. If you find out the slope of this line, then it gives the negative value of the acceleration called as the retardation. Next case is given here for the object which are moving with the non-uniform acceleration. We know in case of non-uniform motion, the always nature of the graph is a curve. Okay, so the similarly you can observe in this graph, that is the line AB, it gives the average value, that is average acceleration for time interval t1 to t2. Second line which is shown here as a tangent to the curve, that is a CD, it gives the value of the instantaneous acceleration at time t0. Now if you find out the area under the curve, then on the velocity and time we know curve, that is this area gives nothing but the distance traveled, and it can be also written in terms of the definition of integral. Now we want to find out the equation of motions by using the graphical representation. We know when body is under the uniform acceleration, then there are three laws which are called as the Newton's equation of motion. So you first observe this graphical representation. What is the situation which is considered? That is position of object which is taken at x is equal to 0 when time t is equal to 0. Initial velocity, that is at point A, it is taken as a u. Now after time t, that is the object acquires the final velocity as v, and it reaches to the point B. Now in this process, you will find the line AB and we can find out the slope of line AB. With the help of slope of line AB, you will get the value of acceleration, that is velocity, change in velocity divided by time, which gives the value of acceleration. And by rearranging this, you will get the first equation of motion. V is equal to u plus at. Now for the second equation, we know the concept of area under the curve, which gives the displacement. So displacement is addition of the two area of triangle and area of quadrilateral. We know the formula of area of triangle, half into base into height. So in the diagram, base is v minus, height is v minus u and base is t. And for area of quadrilateral, that is one side is u and second side is t. Again, you have to put the value of v from equation 1. By putting the value of first equation here, you will get this step. By solving this, you will get this is the second equation of motion. So remember, the first equation is v is equal to u plus at, and second equation is s is equal to ut plus half at square. Now we want to find out the third equation of motion. As we know, the object having the constant velocity, and we can find out the average velocity, that is addition of two velocity divided by 2. So the displacement is also written in terms of average velocity. Displacement is equal to average velocity into time. You can put the value of average velocity, and again here you want to put the value of small t by using the equation 1. If we put the value of small t, then you will get this step, and after solving in the numerator, you have to use a square minus b square formula. A square minus b square is equal to a plus b in first bracket, a minus b in the second bracket. After solving this, you will get, this will be the last equation, that is the third equation of motion. This equation also can be written as v square is equal to u square plus 2 times of as. This equation is called as the third equation of motion. Now we want to discuss about the free falling body. Now the example of uniform rectilinear motion with uniform acceleration. So free falling body, when we consider a body start with velocity from a certain height and it falls under the influence of gravity, called as the free fall. When the forces which are opposing forces, we can say that will be the air resistance or the friction, but for very small distance, these opposing forces, they are neglected. When we consider the body is accelerating towards the earth along the vertical direction, then for small distances, its acceleration is considered as the acceleration due to gravity. We know both velocity and acceleration, they are acting along the vertical downward direction. Now if we observe, this is very interesting property, the distance traveled by the free fall, it will goes on increasing with respect to time factor. So in successive second, that distance will go on increasing. In first second, suppose it travel 1 unit, then in second it will travel 3 unit, in the next second it will travel 5 unit. So it goes on increasing in terms of the odd.